You decided to practice your English speaking skills 3 times a week, or you decided to study vocabulary every day, or you decided to take an English course and elevate your English to the next level. And then boom, life got in the way. And no matter how consistent an English learner you are, when life gets crazy, you can end up falling off track. And before you feel miserable and beat yourself up for not being able to stick to your English study routine, let me tell you, I've been there before, and I can reassure you that falling off track is not as bad as you think. But we can't just keep falling off track, so here are a few things that you can do to get back on track. So most people fall off track because life gets in the way. So their health breaks down, or they have more responsibilities at work, or they've got to travel more frequently, so they can no longer make time for improving their English skills. But sometimes people fall off track because they set unrealistic expectations and create study routines that don't match their lifestyles or learning preferences. For example, if you often have to work overtime or don't have fixed working hours, signing up for an English class is unrealistic because most English classes take place at fixed times, and it's not gonna work for you if you have unpredictable working hours. So you're gonna end up missing many classes, which is gonna make you feel like you're falling behind other people in class. And finally, you're gonna end up quitting. So this way you fall off track. That's why it's important to identify why you fell off track and make necessary changes so that you can create a more sustainable study routine in the future. When it comes to honing your English skills, there might have been so many things that you did consistently before you fell off track, like practicing your English speaking skills, writing journal entries in English, studying vocabulary, or attending speaking clubs. But when it's time to get back on track, don't pressure yourself to get everything in order immediately because it's going to lead to more procrastination. So focus on only one thing to restart and do it consistently for a few days or a few weeks, and then you're more likely to get back into learning English. When English learners fall off track, they often assume that they have to start all over again and that all the effort that they previously put in has gone to waste. This kind of false assumption makes them feel overwhelmed and dread getting back to their language routine. Of course, your English skills are gonna get rusty after being out of practice for a while because you're not a native English speaker. But it doesn't mean that you have to start from scratch. Like, trust me, you don't have to. Especially if you're an intermediate or advanced English learner, you're likely to regain your previous level of proficiency within a month or two. I distinctly remember one time I fell off track and I felt really scared to start speaking in English again because I thought I was back to square one and all of my efforts had gone to waste. But then when I actually got back to learning English, I realized that we suffer more in our imagination than in reality. As I mentioned earlier in this video, falling off track is completely normal. And beating yourself up for not being able to keep up with your English study routine doesn't help. So instead of overthinking and overcomplicating everything, just follow these 3 tips to get your English back on track. But if you still struggle with staying on track even after using these tips, make it clear to yourself that English is a priority in your life. Make it a priority and commit to working on your English skills for 3 months, 6 months, or 9 months consistently. So once you make it a priority, you'll be able to find time and improve your English skills consistently without falling off track.